A study published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine tracked over 12,000 adults over the age of 60 for 8 years and found that those who performed resistance exercises at least twice a week reduced their risk of premature death by 46% compared to those who only walked. In the last 15 days, more than 47,000 people searched for alternatives to walking to stay strong after 60. Today, you will learn the 3 exercises that cardiologists and physiotherapists are now recommending as superior to walking. And you do not need a gym, you do not need weights, and you can start today in your living room. These 3 exercises are not new or experimental. They have been used for decades in cardiac rehabilitation programs, fall prevention protocols, and post-surgical recovery at leading hospitals around the world. The World Health Organization updated its physical activity guidelines in 2020 and for the first time included a specific recommendation. Adults over 65 should perform muscle strengthening exercises at least 2 days per week, not as an optional add-on, but as an essential component of their health. What you are about to see today are not exercises invented for a video. These are movements backed by scientific evidence, used by cardiologists, geriatricians, and physiotherapists in over 30 countries to help people over 60 regain strength, stability, and independence. And stay until the end, because exercise number 1 tends to surprise people the most. It looks far too simple to work, but studies show it can predict your life expectancy more accurately than many medical tests. When you see it, you will understand why so many specialists consider it the single most important movement after 60. Exercise 3. Standing heel raises. After 60, there's a muscle group that weakens silently and that almost no one trains intentionally. The calf muscles, specifically the soleus and gastrocnemius, 2 muscles that work together every time you take a step, climb a stair, or simply stand upright. A study from the University of Pittsburgh published in the Journal of Gerontology found that calf strength is one of the most reliable predictors of fall risk in older adults. When these muscles weaken, the ankle loses stability, and that instability translates into insecure steps, frequent stumbles, and a constant feeling that the ground beneath you is not reliable. Walking does use the calves, yes, but in such a repetitive and low-load way that after a certain age, it stops being enough to keep them strong. It is like trying to strengthen your arms by stirring a spoon. The movement exists, but the challenge is not enough. The heel raise is extraordinarily simple. Stand behind a chair, place your hands lightly on the backrest for balance, and slowly raise both heels off the floor until you are standing on the balls of your feet. Hold that position for 2 to 3 seconds. Then lower back down with control. That is it. A movement you can do while waiting for your coffee water to boil or during a commercial break on television. But do not let its simplicity fool you. A meta-analysis published in Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation in 2022, which reviewed 18 clinical trials with over 2,400 participants aged 60 and older, concluded that calf strengthening exercises reduced fall risk by 34%. When practiced at least 3 times per week. That figure far exceeds what walking alone can offer in terms of fall prevention. Additionally, every time you rise onto the balls of your feet, you generate direct mechanical loading on the ankle bones and tibia, which stimulates bone density, a critical factor in preventing fractures after 60. Start with 8 to 10 repetitions, once or twice a day. When it starts to feel easy, try slowing the movement down, lowering over 3 full seconds. That slow lowering phase, called the eccentric phase, is where the greatest muscle strengthening occurs. Over time, you can also try doing it with only one hand for support or even rising on a single foot if your balance allows it. What you will notice after 2 to 3 weeks is something that many people describe as a revelation. Walking feels different. Your steps become firmer, stairs stop being an obstacle, and that feeling of insecurity when walking on uneven surfaces begins to disappear. You're not simply strengthening a muscle. You are rebuilding the foundation of your mobility. But the next exercise works a part of the body that 90% of older adults never train, and losing strength, there is consequences that go far beyond appearance. Exercise 2. Wall push UPS. There's a part of the body that loses strength silently after 60, and that almost no one associates with daily independence: the upper body. The arms, shoulders, chest, and the muscles that stabilize the back. Think about how many times a day you need to push something: pushing open a heavy door, pushing yourself out of a bathtub, pushing a grocery cart, getting up from the floor if you fall. A longitudinal study from the University of Michigan that followed 8,300 adults over 65 for 4 years found that upper body strength loss was associated with a 41% increase in difficulty performing basic activities of daily living, such as dressing, bathing, or carrying bags. Walking trains, absolutely none of this. Not the arms, not the shoulders, not the chest. You can walk 10,000 steps a day for years, and your upper body strength will continue to decline at exactly the same rate. The wall push-up solves this problem in a way that is accessible and safe for any fitness level. Stand facing a wall, approximately one arm's length away. Place your palms at shoulder height with your fingers pointing upward. Keeping your body straight from head to heels, slowly bend your elbows and bring your chest toward the wall. When you feel a gentle stretch across your chest, push with your palms and return to the starting position. That completes one repetition. What makes this exercise so valuable is that it simultaneously works the chest, shoulders, triceps, and core stabilizer muscles without putting pressure on the knees or lower back. A systematic review published in BMC Geriatrics in 2023, analyzing strength training programs for older adults, found that closed-chain pushing exercises like wall push-ups improved upper body functional strength by 18 to 27% in just 8 weeks, with sessions of only 10 minutes 3 times per week. The key is progression. The farther you stand from the wall, the greater the load on your muscles. But you do not need to stand far to obtain real benefits. Begin with 8 to 12 repetitions, rest for 30 seconds, and repeat once more. That is all. Less than 3 minutes. Breathe naturally. Inhale as your chest approaches the wall. Exhale as you push away. A detail that almost no one mentions is that this exercise also has a significant effect on bone density in the wrist, forearm, and upper arm, exactly the bones that fracture most often when an older person falls and extends their arms for protection. After a few weeks of practicing wall push-ups, many people report that opening jars becomes easier, carrying bags no longer causes pain, and getting up from the floor stops feeling impossible. You are recovering a capability that your body needs every day, but that walking will never develop. And now we arrive at the exercise that specialists consider the most important of all, the movement that can reveal your true biological age, and that has the power to completely transform how your body functions after 60. Exercise 1. Chair squats. If there were a single exercise that could define the difference between aging with independence or aging with dependence, many specialists agree it would be this one. The chair squat, or the simple act of sitting down and standing up with control, is possibly the most functional movement the human body performs after the age of 60. And here is the data point that surprises even doctors. A study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology evaluated over 2,000 adults between the ages of 51 and 80 with a simple sit-to-rise test, and discovered that those with the lowest ability to perform it had a mortality risk up to 6 times higher over the following 6 years, compared to those who did it with ease. Your ability to rise from a low position with control is not just an indicator of muscular strength. It is a predictor of longevity. And the most alarming part is this. After 60, the body loses between 3 and 5% of muscle mass per decade if it is not actively challenged, a process called sarcopenia. Walking does not stop sarcopenia. Only resistance training can. The chair squat is elegant in its simplicity. Sit on the edge of a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the floor, shoulder width apart. Keep your chest lifted and your gaze forward. Lean your torso slightly forward from the hips and push through your heels to slowly stand up until you are fully upright. Remain standing for 1 second without locking your knees. Then lower yourself with control, as if you were gently searching for the seat with your hips, until you lightly touch the chair again. That is 1 repetition. Every time you perform this movement, you're lifting nearly your entire body weight against gravity, and that constitutes real strength training. You are activating your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, abdominals, and lower back simultaneously. A clinical trial published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society demonstrated that chair squat programs performed 3 times per week for 12 weeks improved walking speed by 22% and reduced fall risk by 38% in adults over 65. Furthermore, when you challenge large muscle groups this way, your body releases myokines, anti-inflammatory substances that travel through the bloodstream, protecting the heart, the brain, and improving insulin sensitivity. If you need help at first, you can lightly rest your hands on the chair's armrests. As your strength improves, cross your arms over your chest to increase the challenge. To progress after a few weeks, lower more slowly. Count 3 seconds during the descent. That slow phase forces the muscles to work with greater intensity and produces a superior strengthening stimulus. You can also add a 1-second pause just before touching the chair, keeping your muscles under constant tension. Start with 5 repetitions if you have been inactive for a long time. If your body responds well, progress to 8, then 10, then 12. You do not need to do more than that. The goal is not to suffer. The goal is to challenge your muscles enough so that your body receives the message that strength is still needed. What many people discover after 3 to 4 weeks is something profoundly transformative. Getting out of bed stops being a struggle. Climbing stairs stops generating fatigue. Walking feels safer, firmer, more natural. And there is a change that goes beyond the physical. When your body feels capable, your mind opens as well. You feel like going out again, visiting people, trying new things. Physical strength feeds emotional strength, and that connection is far deeper than most people imagine. Now that you know all 3 exercises, I want you to understand something that very few videos explain, and that makes the difference between getting temporary results or building a truly functional body after 60. These 3 movements were not chosen at random. Each one works a different muscular chain that complements the other 2. And when you combine them, the effect on your body is exponentially greater than if you did any of them in isolation. The heel raises strengthen the base, the ankle and calf, which are the first point of contact with the ground and the first line of defense against falls. The wall push-ups work the upper body, the arms, chest, and shoulders, which are the muscles you need to push, hold yourself up, and protect yourself if you lose your balance. And the chair squat strengthens the center of everything, the legs, hips, and core, which are the main engine behind every functional movement you perform throughout the day. Together, they cover the entire body. A study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity in 2021 analyzed exercise programs for older adults and concluded that routines combining lower body, upper body, and balance exercises produced improvements in functional capacity 62% greater than routines that only included one type of exercise. That means the magic is not in a single movement, but in the intelligent combination of movements that work your whole body as an integrated system. Think of your body as a chain. If one link is weak, the entire chain breaks at that point. Walking only strengthens some of the links. These 3 exercises strengthen the entire chain. There are 3 factors that most people ignore and that can multiply the results of these exercises without adding a single extra minute of effort. The first is breathing. When you exhale during the effort phase, whether you are pushing away from the wall, standing up from the chair, or rising onto your heels, you are automatically activating the deep abdominal muscles that stabilize your spine. That not only protects your lower back during the exercise, it also trains your core in a way that walking never achieves. The pattern is simple. Exhale when you push or rise. Inhale when you return to the starting position. That breathing rhythm also helps keep blood pressure more stable during movement, something especially important after 60. The second factor is frequency. Research published in the Scandinavian Journal of Medicine and Science in Sports has shown that for older adults, performing strength exercises 3 times per week produces significantly better results than doing them only once, but doing them 5 or 6 times does not produce meaningful additional improvements. The optimal point is between 3 and 4 sessions per week, with at least one rest day between sessions to allow muscles to recover and grow stronger. The third factor is progression, and this is where many people make a silent mistake. They do the same 10 repetitions at the same speed for months and wonder why they stop seeing improvements. Your body is extraordinarily efficient at adapting. If you give it the same stimulus over and over, it stops responding. Progression does not mean doing dangerous things or lifting weights. It means making small changes every 2 to 3 weeks, lowering more slowly, pausing before completing the repetition, reducing hand support, or adding 2 or 3 repetitions. Those minimal adjustments are enough to send your body a clear signal that it still needs to keep building strength. But I want to be completely honest with you about something that almost no health video openly mentions. The most transformative benefit of these 3 exercises is not measured in muscles or repetitions. It is measured in confidence. After 60, many people begin to shrink their world in silence. They stop climbing stairs because they fear falling. They stop carrying things because they feel they cannot. They stop going out alone because they do not trust their balance. And little by little, without anyone noticing, life gets smaller. When you regain strength in your legs, stability in your ankles, and capability in your arms, something changes inside you that goes far beyond the physical. You feel capable again. You dare again. You believe again that your body can respond when you need it. And that recovery of confidence is, in many cases, more valuable than any number on a medical test. Now, let me give you a practical way to incorporate these 3 exercises into your daily life without it feeling like a burden. You can do the heel raises in the morning while waiting for your coffee or tea water to boil. Less than 2 minutes. The wall push-ups you can do before lunch, using your kitchen or living room wall. 3 minutes at most. And the chair, squats you can do in the afternoon, using the chair where you watch television or read. Another 3 minutes. In total, we're talking about less than 8 minutes distributed throughout the day, integrated into activities you already do. You do not need athletic clothing. You do not need a fixed schedule. You do not need special motivation. You just need a wall, a chair, and the decision to give your body the stimulus that walking alone cannot provide. And if one day you do not feel like it, do just one exercise. Even a single set of chair squats is infinitely better than doing nothing. Imperfect consistency always beats abandoned perfection. You do not need to do all 3 exercises from day one. Choose one, whichever calls your attention the most, and practice it for a week. Just that. When it feels comfortable, add the second. And after 2 or 3 weeks, incorporate the third. Consistency always beats intensity. 5 minutes a day, repeated almost every day, will have more impact than an exhausting routine done once in a while. If you already walk, that is excellent. Do not stop. Simply add these exercises before or after your walk. Think of walking as food for your heart, and these 3 movements as food for your muscles and bones. Together, they form a far more complete strategy for aging with health and independence. And remember something very important. You are not too old. Your body is still adaptable, still intelligent, still wants to grow stronger. It just needs the right signal. And these 3 exercises are exactly that signal. If you want to keep learning how to maintain strength, balance, and mobility after 60, you'll find more evidence-based content right here. See you in the next video. Stay strong.